Welcome to the latest episode of Talking Season. I'm your host, Ryan McNeil, and I'm thrilled to be joined by Boston College guard Brevin Galloway. Brevin, how are you today?
I'm doing great. I'm excited for this. I'm excited.
I'm pumped to have you on the show. First question for you, a fun little lob ball.
Mm-hmm.
How and when did you fall in love with basketball?
I fell in love with basketball at an early age. I would say 4 or 5, maybe. That's whenever I remember just being addicted to it, wanting to shoot every time. Obviously, wanted to be around my dad. He coached, and my mom played growing up. So obviously, I was just around the game a lot. So I guess I was just influenced that way. So yeah, I fell in love with it early, like 4 or 5 years old.
I can relate to falling in love at a young age like that. Even with this passion for basketball, what are some things that you're passionate about away from the basketball court?
I really love animals. I'm big on animals. I have 3 pets of my own. Just had 4. One passed recently. But yeah, so I'm a big animal guy. I love fast food. Anything like that. Those are the 2 big things I'm really interested in, and then tattoos, obviously. Um, but yeah, other than that, I really don't have a lot of interest outside of basketball. Just kind of just a chill, laid back dude. Just kind of just take it day by day.
Okay, hold up. You're a high level athlete, elite athlete, and you have a passion for fast food?
Yeah, man, I love it.
Okay, what's your go-to? We'll call it cheat meal. What's your go-to fast food cheat meal?
Go to fast food. Bojangles for sure. They don't have one up north though, so
No.
that's the only problem. So Bojangles is definitely my go-to down south. But I mean, at the moment, I've had to settle with McDonald's. McDonald's has been the go-to, which is it's doable. I really like it actually. But it's not like Bojangles though. But
The big theme this month on my show is talking with athletes about how they've dealt with adversity.
Mhm.
How have you dealt with adversity, and how has it or how is it helping you grow on or off the basketball court?
Adversity has been something that I've dealt with for the past year. I've had 2 surgeries in the past year. I had an ACL surgery, then I just had to get my meniscus cut. So in terms of adversity, I feel like I've been through it. The biggest thing I felt like just learning, I try to look at each setback as a challenge to overcome it. Obviously, I want my story, whenever it's all said and done, to be a successful, great story. So with these little setbacks, I'm kind of using those as like motivation and kind of being determined to overcome something, and hopefully just give people, see people that, keep fighting, stay encouraged, and obviously just keep going, and hopefully your story can end up being great. So with adversity hitting, I feel like it's just a challenge and it's just an opportunity to overcome something. So that's why I try to look at it in the most positive way possible. Obviously, it's easy to get upset and flustered and get miserable during it. But at the same time, though, you got to look at it as an opportunity to overcome something.
I'm looking at your stats on ESPN, and you're hovering around 20 minutes in the 4 games you've played.
Mm-hmm.
Is that a minutes restriction coming back from those injuries? Are they easing you back?
Yeah,
What was happening? I think you got another setback in the past.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry.
So the first game back, I ended up, well, apparently I've been playing with a slightly torn meniscus since probably July or August. So I was kind of battling that pain because I didn't know it was a torn meniscus until they actually went in and had surgery, because I had a lot of pain in my knees. I had a lot of pain in my like in my knee area where I had surgery. So we ended up having to get surgery all over again because I had to get my meniscus taken out. But yeah, so the first 4 games I played, and I was in miserable pain, trying to fight through it, whatever I could. I ended up playing 20 minutes, I think, the last game against Notre Dame. But I think starting at the Columbia game, which was like November, I can't remember what date exactly, but I was working my way up. I think I started off with like 10 and 12 minutes, and I was slowly progressing. But then I couldn't fight the pain for that much longer, so I had to have surgery.
This changes my next question a little bit. So Boston College is 4 unknown games that you've played,
Mm-hmm.
which has to be incredibly encouraging for you, for the team, for everyone. Right now, when we're recording this on Monday afternoon, the team is 6-5.
Mm-hmm.
For you as a competitor, as someone who has a relationship with your head coach from the time at the previous school, how frustrating is it for you knowing the impact you can make, even in limited minutes when you're on the court, to see the team at 6-5 and not having the season that a lot of people wanted coming into this?
It's definitely been frustrating. Just from me being selfish, just because I feel like obviously I can go out there and help the team win. But at the same time, you can't think like that just because of the position you're in. Like the cards that I'm dealt, obviously I can't play. So I have to find other ways to get the guys going, obviously stay engaged and doing that type of thing. So it's definitely been frustrating from my end. But at the same time, though, I can't do anything. I can't sit around and be miserable. I gotta give other guys life and make sure that I'm still a positive influence in the locker room. So it's definitely been tough watching us lose those games when I felt like I know I could be a threat out there and help us win. But at the same time, it is what it is. I just gotta keep encouraging the guys and keep looking forward.
This is Earl Grant's first season at Boston College, much
Mm-hmm.
like you. You've played for him for the past 3 seasons, I believe. When you're on the court, when you're in practices, what do you enjoy the most about playing for Coach Grant?
The freedom he gives us and the trust that he has in us. Obviously, if you see my games, you can kind of see that I take a lot of wild shots, and my shot selection can kind of be questionable, but I love it how he just gives us freedom. He knows what type of player I am. He trusts me. He believes in me. So the biggest thing is just the freedom and trust that he gives us. I feel like a lot of coaches kind of limit players to do certain things and kind of keep them in a box. And Coach Grant doesn't, like, he just lets us be who we are, and whatever we feel comfortable doing is what we're allowed to do. So I feel like that's what separates him and makes him one of the top tier coaches in college basketball.
Who are some people who have helped you reach this point as a young man, as a student athlete, as a young man in general? Is there a parent? Is there a teacher? Is there a coach? Is it Coach Grant? You mentioned your dad earlier. Who is somebody who's had a really big impact on your life and has helped shaping the man you are and are becoming?
Well, I have 4 people. Coach Grant was obviously one of them. He's been very influential in terms of basketball and allowing my development, like on and off the court, throughout my time in college. My parents, my mom and dad, are obviously very, very big pieces to who I've become. And then my girlfriend recently, the past 3 years, I feel like I've grown in each area because of the 4 of them. I feel like I've grown like in basketball because of Coach Grant, but obviously he's taught me some stuff off the court, like life lessons as well. Obviously, my parents have raised me to who I've become, and then my girlfriend has kind of helped me mature into a man whenever it comes to taking responsibilities and like family oriented stuff like that. So I definitely got good people in my corner that have helped me mature and definitely taught me some tough love lessons. But they've definitely done it the right way, and I feel like I've benefited from it.
That's a great answer. Now, you have, from what I've heard in our talk and what I've done in my research, you have a unique story about becoming a college athlete. You've had adversity. You've gone to 2 different colleges now. I think, was it Charleston? Am I getting that wrong?
Yeah, College of Charleston and Boston.
College Charleston. Now you're at Boston College. When you sit back, either doing your rehab or some quiet time, whenever you have it, what sticks out about your journey on your way to becoming a college athlete and or these past 4 years? What sticks out about this journey as a student athlete?
I think the biggest thing I've learned is that everybody runs their own race. Obviously, you have intentions and you have dreams of, leaving college early to be a professional basketball player. And obviously stuff you can't control happens and that gets in the way. So I feel like throughout my time here and what I want to teach others is just that you can still get whatever you want accomplished. Obviously, your playing days, you have a certain amount of window that you can play. But at the same time, though, I mean, I'll leave college with 3 degrees and I'll be ready to be a professional basketball player. So, I mean, obviously 6 years in college it's not ideal for what you want in terms of like what you want coming out of high school. But I mean, looking back at it, it's been a hell of a journey and I've enjoyed every single year of it. Obviously, the people I've met, the relationships I've made, and just the experiences I've had. So, I mean, 6 years is a long time, but at the same time, I feel like I've made the most of it and gotten everything out of it that I wanted to.
Wow, 3 degrees. First of all, congratulations. That's amazing. As a former teacher, that really hits a nerve. And I'm like, oh, yeah, that's great. Here's a heavy question. And I'm not sure if when you transferred to Boston College, you started thinking about this. I'm not sure if with this other injury setback, you had some more time to think about it. The possible end of the end of your college career is, you can see it.
Right.
Whatever could happen, happens. Graduation is going to be coming at some point. Well, the third graduation, I should say, should come at some point. When you graduate and when you walk away from basketball, what are you hoping to achieve with those impressive 3 degrees?
So the biggest thing for me, and this is kind of obviously injuries that have changed my perspective on certain things. So I've started, and the whole NIL thing has kind of helped me out in terms of kind of what I want to do. I've been able to work with specific companies like New Balance, Mercedes, Crocs now. I got my own like little deal with iSlide. So I've kind of ventured in, kind of like got my feet wet into some certain areas that I never thought I would be able to get into. So with that being said, I'm could be a social media influencer. Obviously, I want to get into coaching. My degree, my master's in Boston College is going to be in sports administration, just in case I wanted to go the coaching route. Obviously, I want to be a director of basketball operations one day for a college team. I want to be around basketball, but I also want to help guys obviously grow and developing the young men as well, because I feel like the locker room atmosphere, I just love it in college basketball, and I feel like it's just not like any place else. So either coaching, social media, obviously I can go into the business world and work in that area as well. So kind of just testing everything right now and seeing what I really want to get into. Obviously, I want to play basketball professionally for 5 to 6 years, and then kind of keep growing my fan base and making my name bigger that way. And then I'll just see whatever happens from there.
My question, without rambling too much, is who are some people that you feel you can learn the business side of this from?
So in terms of the basketball world, I have two guys, well, really just one that I can really learn. Well, one is our grad assistant here, Jermaine Blackman. That's his name. He kind of teaches me the ins and outs of dealing with agents and stuff like that in the basketball world. And then I have a former teammate of mine who plays in the NBA now, or not NBA. He was in the NBA. He plays overseas, Jarrell Brantley. So that's the basketball that's where I'm learning from the ins and outs of the business side of the basketball world. Then for like the whole NIL and the business side, luckily I'm blessed to have two agents that I've gotten to get really close with. One is my childhood friend, Lucas Califomo. I've known him since we were 8-9 years old, and he handles the business side of my NIL deals. And then I have another agent, Mike Raymond, out of Florida. I met him the last 3 months. I think we met 3 months ago, and it's been taking off ever since then. So I feel like I got a great group of guys to learn from in terms of basketball and like the business side of the world. So I feel like I definitely got 4 good guys that I can actually learn from and actually have an honest conversation with and actually let me know how it is. Because the biggest thing is I want to learn from others' mistakes. So I'm asking a lot of questions to these guys, and obviously they're giving me the honest truth. So I feel like I'm in a good spot to make the best decision.
All right, 2 questions left. This first one is a lighthearted one.
Mm-hmm.
I'm in Toronto, and I'm still hoping to move to Texas next winter. I was born and raised in Canada, but I'm not built for these winters.
Yeah.
How's a South Carolina kid doing in Boston? Like, we're just the tip of the winter iceberg. It's going to get worse. How are you doing with the Boston winter so far?
I had to actually buy my first pair of gloves the other day, which was new to me. And then I think I have to invest in a pair of snow boots because it started snowing. And that was my third time I've seen snow in my life. It's actually nice though. It's actually a beautiful thing to see, walking outside, just seeing the ground covered in white. But no, walking to the gym or walking to class, it's miserable. The wind's hitting you. I feel like every part of my body has to be covered, because if not, then I'm just exposed and my whole body feels it. So I had to buy some gloves, probably gonna get some snow boots, and definitely layer it up a lot more, because normally in Charleston right now I'd be wearing maybe a hoodie and some shorts with some Crocs or something, but not 2 pair of sweatpants, 2 coats, and then a bubble jacket. Like, nah, I didn't expect this at all.
You mentioned you had the partial meniscus tear. Are you done for this season? Can you get back for tournament play? Like,
I'm gonna be back. What's today's date? I'll be back the 29th of December.
I'm glad you're back at the end of this month, because when I talk to NBA rookies, I always ask them, who's a player that you want to play against on the court? I'm not sure if it's the same with college basketball. I'm wondering if there's a player you want to play against. I'm wondering if more so maybe it is a college campus a college arena you want to play in. A South Carolina kid, do you want to go play the Gamecocks? Do you want to play at Chapel Hill? Do you want to play the ACC has some legendary arenas, some legendary fans. I see you smiling already. What's a school you're excited to go play at?
Man, honestly, the biggest thing that I was most excited about coming to Boston College was just playing in the ACC. Like, I think our schedule lines up this year. We don't go to Duke, which hurts. We don't go to Cameron for Coach K's last year, but it's all right though, because I'm from like Anderson, South Carolina, which is near the Clemson area. So we go to Clemson this year. So that's probably my favorite, just because obviously I'm gonna be coming home. Going to Chapel Hill is gonna be fun. We played in Chapel Hill last year. Obviously, it was an empty crowd, so it wasn't the same experience. So Syracuse will be fun. Notre Dame will be fun, just because those are like somewhat rivals to us. I mean, every game is pretty much going to be fun. Obviously, we don't go to Florida. We don't go to Florida State or Miami. So that'd be nice to go down south and get away from the winter a little bit. But I feel like every game is going to be fun. Obviously, it's going to be new for me. This is my first year being in the ACC, so I'm really excited for it.
Brevin, thank you for your time. Good luck coming back from this injury. I hope you have a great final year of college basketball.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much for having me.